In this video, I'm going to discuss some of the movies in my collection that I've been watching recently. Hey, it's me, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and welcome back to another video. So, movies in my collection I've been watching recently. I've had a few different movies I've been watching. I'm watching movies each and every week, and I kind of do this on the main podcast, do like a roundup of what I've been watching. But I thought, let's just do a video based solely on some of the movies in my actual physical collection that I have been watching recently. So I've got 6 movies to discuss in this episode, and let's deep dive into the topic. So the first movie I want to discuss is Monsters University, the Disney Pixar movie, and this is a recent pickup in the collection over maybe last month or so. It is the prequel movie to Monsters Inc., Monsters University. I remember first seeing this, I think it was before Christmas or around Christmas time, and I think it was on the iPlayer, the BBC iPlayer over here. And I watched it the first time, and this is a point now where it's probably been out getting on for like 10 years, this movie. And I really liked Monsters Inc. I think Monsters Inc. is a super Pixar movie, but never got around to watching the prequel. It's just one of those that kind of just slipped under the net when it came out. But I watched it. It was on Christmas time. Watched it on the iPlayer. I thought it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it as a Pixar. Would you say a Pixar fanboy? Is that what they call them? I definitely do I like my Pixar movies. It's just but yeah, it's a really fun just to see the telling, the story, the origin of Sully and Mike in this story, and just seeing a bit more of the monster world, and seeing this university before they get to the actual industry of the Monsters Inc. factory. You see them in university doing monster school and becoming like proper professional monster scarers and stuff like that, and it's just a really fun telling. As always, Pixar really never lets me down personally. I think a lot of people that feel the same. Pixar is always on top form, and this is a top movie. Well worth checking out. If you like Monsters Inc. and you've never got around to checking out Monsters University, maybe you've just been on the fence, maybe you again feel like myself, well, you slipped under the net years ago, definitely check this one out. Well worth watching. The next movie I want to discuss is Terminator, the first Terminator movie. This is one I've been watching, I watched recently because I was doing a collaboration with another channel, and we were discussing this movie in particular, and I watched it and just really enjoyed it. And it's the one with the Terminators. I think as years go by now, I enjoy them even more so, and more particularly the first movie. I think for me, Terminator, I would always be sort of go to Terminator 2 as my favourite for years on. And I think still Terminator 2 is just narrows it as my favourite of the Terminator franchise. But the first Terminator movie is such a great sci-fi film, a really good sci-fi action movie. And, just having Arnold as this big time villain who doesn't say that much throughout the film, but just the pure size of Arnold in this film as the Terminator, he just makes for a perfect villain, just a monster villain of a movie villain. And then you've got Michael Biehn's character of Kyle Reese, and then Sarah Connor played by Linda Hamilton. I just love the story. Just it is like a Scream type movie. I'm trying to think what the genre is called. Then type of Scream, then sort of, I can't think of the genre escapes me, but the films like Scream, your Friday the 13th, them slasher genres, that's what I'm looking for, slasher movies. It's got that it's got that slasher movie feel. I feel embarrassed now, I'm just getting all my words mixed up. But it really has with the Terminator, he's just sent back from the future to kill Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton. Kyle Reese is there, going back as well in time to protect her. And basically, you got this great story where Terminator just keeps on chasing her down and trying to kill her. And it's just a absolutely awesome sci-fi movie. Again, Terminator 2 just narrows it for me in the Terminator franchise, but Terminator 1 is super close behind. It is a really fantastic film and one I've really enjoyed rewatching recently. And I gotta say as well, the synthwave soundtrack in that, it's all like original music in it, and it's got like a very synthesized synthwave soundtrack, which I really enjoy as well. That is another big factor of this movie in it being so cool and such a good film to rewatch. Next up, I'm going to discuss Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, this is the second movie in the Disney-led Star Wars Skywalker saga movies, the trilogy that Disney put out. Look, I think for me, all of these Disney ones I've enjoyed. I'm not going to go out there and say I've not enjoyed them. I think there's definitely parts of them now, and on reflection, I can understand why people don't like them, but overall, my view of these as a movie fan is I've enjoyed the Disney era. I think, look, for me it's always the OGs, the original trilogy is always my favourite, but I think they tried something different, and I think this one, more so, The Last Jedi, really, it went in a new direction. It feels like Rian Johnson, the director of this, really trying to take it to new places, this movie, and especially with like Luke Skywalker's character in particular, where he's very much, he has made mistakes, and I think a lot of people felt like after the last of the original trilogy that he was going to be this wise old Jedi, and it didn't feel like in this movie that he particularly was a wise old Jedi, and it felt like he had a lot of anger, and maybe they're rebuilding that now a bit more so with the TV shows, with the new like The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett and stuff like that. But it was a lot of new ground, and I felt I really enjoyed it. I think my first take at watching this at the cinema was I didn't like some of the jokes at the start with Poe Dameron's character when he's like stalling, and there's like really cheesy jokes in there. And I remember watching it at the cinema, and that was one part of the movie I didn't really like. And upon rewatching it, I don't mind it as much. I don't think it's as bad as I initially thought it was. But overall, I mean, the final battle sequence is fantastic. I love the setting of the desert, like the red desert, like when you touch it and stuff like that, and then you've got them all taking on Luke Skywalker and then just like blasting him, and he's just taking them all down. It's a super film, and like I said, I just enjoy it because it's a different movie, and it's not your same old Star Wars, and I think it's good to offer the Star Wars audience something fresh, and this to me was definitely something new and something fresh for us Star Wars fans. So another movie I have been watching recently is the Disney Aladdin remake, the live action remake led by Will Smith as the genie, taking over that role from Robin Williams. This was a Christmas gift, and this is one I've been watching a few times since Christmas, and I've really enjoyed this film. I never watched the original animated one as a kid, and this was the first time the first movie in the Aladdin movies. I mean, there's only been two. Well, obviously you have all the sequels of the animated ones, but this was the first incarnation of Aladdin I've ever watched. After watching this and really enjoying it initially, like a few years back, I watched the original animated Aladdin and enjoyed that also. I think they're both equally great movies. They're both very, very similar, but both Robin Williams and Will Smith's versions of the genie do differ, and I think they're both really good versions. I probably always flip to what side I prefer. I mean, I think Robin Williams has just got a bit more to his genie, but I don't know. I think Will Smith is equally just as good. I think it's one day I'll probably say Will Smith, and then the other day I'll say Robin Williams. At the moment, I'd probably say Robin Williams, but I think Will Smith is equally a really good genie. But yeah, I think it's a great live action movie. And if this was done, the director of this, which I find this really bizarre, Guy Ritchie, the director known for doing all these gangster films and stuff like that, he was hired to do a Disney Aladdin remake, and it was that seems like such a bizarre choice of director. But honestly, he nailed it. He really did give us another big time musical live action film, and I think it's a really visually it looks stunning. I think the music's great. I think it's just a fun story all around, a very interesting story. I love they're trying to get this lamp because it grants them wishes, and then you see like the good in people, and then you see another guy in it who's just trying to get it to do bad things and do things so he can just be powerful. And I love that, like, where it's just like it's looking at the characters and seeing what they would do if they had unlimited power, and that is really the true story of Aladdin. And I think it's a really great film and one I've really enjoyed watching recently. So another movie in my collection I've been watching recently is Yogi Bear, the live-action Hanna-Barbera Yogi Bear movie that came out, must have been like 2010s now, I suspect. I'm saving it, 2012 it says here. This is a hidden gem in my opinion. This is a recent pickup as well. Really is a hidden gem. You've got Dan Aykroyd doing the voice of Yogi Bear, and then you've got Justin Timberlake doing the voice of Boo Boo. You think that seems like a really odd pairing, but honestly, the voices sound exactly like the original Yogi Bear TV show. Not that I've watched a ton of it, but I mean, I've watched stuff on YouTube, a ton of clips on YouTube, and the voices sound very similar. And in general, the feel of the movie is very similar. Very similar setups. You've got these two bears in this national park, and they're stealing a picnic basket. Yogi Bear, hey boo boo. That's my Yogi Bear impression. And then my Boo Boo impression is this: hey Yogi, can we get the picnic basket? No, they're awful. They're awful impressions, but that's all I've got. But yeah, honestly, it is a hidden gem of a film, this Yogi Bear movie. It's just a really good comedy film to watch. It's one for the whole family. You've got the guy who plays the park ranger what's his name? He's the guy from the Tom Cavanagh who plays the Reverse Flash in the Flash TV show. I think he plays the Reverse Flash at certain points in that show, and he plays another role of like a scientist guy in that as well. He's really good in this. But yeah, overall, it's really just a fun movie to watch. This is the sort of movie I can put on before bed and chill out to. Just, it's not like you're not overthinking the plot or anything like that. It's just nice and simple, a nice fun movie to settle down to. So the final movie in my collection that I've been watching recently, I'm going to discuss today, is The Hunger Games, the very first Hunger Games movie. I've watched it maybe only a couple of times, this film, but I wanted to watch it again recently. I just had this yearning to watch this film, and it's been in my collection for a few years now. And yeah, I really like this. I'll be honest, I've only ever watched this first movie in the Hunger Games series. I've seen bits and pieces of the other ones on TV and never really went into them in all detail. But even last time I watched this film, I really enjoyed it, and I had that excitement level to be like, I was like, I'm going to go and watch the rest of these movies, but I never got round to watching them. But watched it recently, and I mean, this is just a great science fiction, dystopian future type movie. Jennifer Lawrence is golden in this. Her performances are great, and it's really set in this futuristic world, but it feels so grounded. The overall look and the acting of this movie, it feels very grounded in reality. I think you've got this world where they're getting put into this big game. All these different areas of the planet are getting put in this big game that they do every year called the Hunger Games, and they've got to, basically, it's the last one to survive it wins, and they have to kill each other and stuff like that. And it reminds me a bit of like The Running Man. It's got that sort of feel to it, and as a big fan of that movie, this movie really appealed to me. And I'd be interested to see now. I mean, I do want to watch all the rest of them now that it's fresh in the memory as well, because I've only just watched this recently. I'd like to watch the rest of them to see how this story develops, because is it like 5 movies or something? And I know they're actually doing, or they have done, I think they've done a prequel book. So you can imagine there's going to be more movies later down the line, prequel movies to this franchise. I think it made over $2 billion, I think, when it was at the box office, the whole franchise as a whole. So it made a lot of money. You can understand why they would want to do more of these Hunger Game movies. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it is just on its own, if you watch this and don't even watch the rest of the other ones, I think it works as its own movie, and I think it's just a really fun watch. As someone who likes action, science fiction, them sort of dystopian world sort of feel movies, This is a great movie for me. I really enjoyed it on the rewatch, and yeah, well worth checking out if you've never watched The Hunger Games before. So they are all of my recent movie watches from my movie collection. I think this would be my favourite though. If you are definitely out of these 6 movies, Yogi Bear is my favourite one. I'd really recommend watching this one. These are the movies I've been watching recently, and honestly, I've really enjoyed rewatching some of these ones and watching some of these, just having the experiences of watching them. It's always fun to go to the movie collection and just, picking out a few movies, watch a movie a day, and just chill out watching some films. You can't go wrong with that. If you enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like and check out the rest of the movie-related content on the channel, and let me know your thoughts on the movies in my collection that I've been watching recently. Have you been watching any of these recently? What are your experiences of watching these movies? Do you enjoy these movies, or do you think some of these are not superb movies? Let me know all your thoughts, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.